All right, here I'm going to go over how to make a tile set for a video game. Here's an example I found online. We're going to start with the center. We're going to move off to the sides, and then we'll do the outside corners, and then we'll do the inside corners, and that should be enough to do everything. So I'm going to replay a video that I made and kind of voice over. What I first did is I made a square composition in Photoshop. I'm using CS5 because I hate paying for a service when it's actually a program. And I made some colors, obviously, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And I'll just talk over while it watches. I made one layer with my colors, and then I decided on this darker color to start. And so I filled that. And I'm obviously thinking about what I'm doing here. And then I started painting with another color, right? This sort of texture. Don't worry, I'm a much better artist than this, but I was doing this just for a demo. And I speed this up so you can see what's going on. And what's great is I'm not worrying about anything. And then I go up to this thing called offset under the filters, and then I'm just going to change this to any number so that I can have I see where the issues are, and you can see there's some lines, right? Some hard edge lines. You might be more noticeable with what you're using collage or if you're doing a drawing. And then I just do this a few times so I can make sure that there's no issues where it doesn't tile. And I guess I'm happy, so I keep doing that. Maybe add a little bit more detail, obviously. Yeah. So la la la. And then, of course, retitle this so I have it as mid. And I'm going to make a duplicate of this just by dragging it down into a new window, turn off the background. And now I'm going to start with the top, I assume. So I grab the eraser tool, and I'm going to erase the top of that. Come in here and grab some grass, color, and yeah, I sped this up a little bit and just come in here and paint. Now you could change more than just the grass. The example I showed had a dark center and then a lighter top, and so you could of course go down further if you wanted to. In this case, I just work on the top grass, and of course you can do this with collage too if you want. Now, once I get finished with drawing it, it's time to go to the filter again. In this case, you need to pay a little bit of attention. You want to make sure that you only do it, right, in a horizontal method. And you remember that number, -44 in this case. It can be whatever you want. Fix that edge that you can see that obviously makes it not tiled. Once you fix that, you're going to move it back with the same filter offset. And what's nice is that that number should already still be there because it remembers it. And instead of -44, you're going to make it just 44, +44. This is the opposite number. You've moved it back. And now we're good. And so I'm making a new composition, which is a much larger thing, to check these out right away. So don't make 20 of them and then realize you're not good and you messed up. Bring them in here. Both of them. So I bring in the mid, I bring in the top. And I'm going to set, it should be set to snap. If you're not set to snap, that's under view and snap, and so they should snap into place. I'm duplicating by holding down Alt, dragging and dropping, and yeah, they look good. So they look like they tile. I'm happy. And so I change, it looks like I changed resolution, not very smart. And so now we're going to keep working. I assume I go to the side on this one. All right, and so I should be labeling these, but I'm not, because I'm not a very smart person. And I'm just erasing the side, right, to make the side tile. And what's really great, as long as you don't mess around with the edges, the top, in this case, the top, let me talk about what I'm doing here. This time I'm doing vertical, find the edge, right, find the problem. I made it 158. It does not matter what number that is, as long as you take it back to its original position, right? I fixed that. I'm happy. Maybe add some more things, obviously. And I would probably recommend going ahead and moving it back before you start doing this stuff, because you might forget and then it will be off. But I go back to filter, offset, and just make sure it was positive 158, so I'm going to put -158 in this case. And now it should be back to a tile. And you can, of course, draw, as long as you don't mess with in this case, the top right and bottom edges, you can draw whatever you want. And it can be completely different than the inside tile. And then I just hold down Shift, grab multiples, make copies of them just to make sure that, hey, it's working well. I'm going to turn that guy off. I should relabel these, right? And oh, now I'm going to make the top edge. That's fine. So you can see I make a copy of the left, and I'm also going to make a copy, or in this case, just grab a selection of the grass. So I'm going to grab the grass from the top tile. However you grab a selection, it doesn't matter. Right click, layer via copy, then I have it as a copy. And now I'm going to put those two together. Before I combine them, I merge them, I'll go ahead and erase the part that I don't need, which is of course this outside edge. I'm erasing the background too because I don't need the top part of that, and then erasing the grass. And then fix, make it different so it's not so, so it is slightly different. Yeah, grass is different over the edge. Grab both of them, merge those layers, and now I have the top left outside edge, and we'll check that too. All right, so as you may guess, now it's time to do the bottom. So I make another copy of the mid and come in here with the eraser tool and just draw what I believe the bottom should look like. And so you should be aware of everything that we need to do now. We're going to erase, draw, use the offset filter to get back. Here I do a selection to make sure I have everything removed. I wasn't sure if I had a little bits and pieces because I erased so poorly. So that was not a bad idea. I have the wrong color there, so hopefully I figure out, oh yeah. Really worrying about the details here. But this would be fun. The bottom you can really kind of maybe have some stalactites or stalagmites. I don't know which one hangs from the ceiling. And again, filter, offset. This time we're going to, instead of making it vertical, we're going to just use the horizontal one. And just whatever number you put in, just put it back to normal after you fix that hard edge. Right here I'm starting to break up some of the lines so that it's not so obvious that it's the same tile as the middle, as the top, as the left. And again, as long as you don't mess with the edges, you can do whatever you want to the inside. I guess I would recommend doing that before you, or move your offset filter before. So I did it wrong. You probably should do your offset filter before you go in there and mess around with it. Great. Looks good. Now it's time to do the other outside edge. So I'm going to make a copy of this, duplicate that, and of course duplicate the left side, right? I'm going to combine these two. What I do is I control click on that layer, on the thumbnail, and that gives me that selection. And I'm going to take the inverse of that selection, and then I can just cut it, press delete. And I could just use that if I wanted to. Looks like I go in and I make some changes. And I thought I sped these parts up, but of course just in YouTube, make it faster if you want to not watch me draw not so well. And again, you might want to title these so that it's obvious for you. It's up to you. And there, so we're good. Now you could repeat the same thing for the other side, the same method. I think what I did just to make it faster because I'm lazy is I just reflected these ones, right? So I went up to edit. Oh yeah, maybe I wasn't happy with that, obviously, because I'm such a perfectionist. Oh, it's so much better. Wow, look how amazing that is. And it's good to show, like, you can have multiples, right? Like, you can have different types, and your people in Unity, if you're working in Unity, can use various types so that it's not just the same corner piece all the time. Maybe I'll script forward here. Yeah, I'm much happier with that, I guess. But it's nice. It's true. It's good to look at the whole piece and think, hey, does this actually match what I want to do? All right. And so now I move on into reflecting these. And so I think I just go up to transform. Yeah, make a copy, of course, because you want to keep the original. And up to edit and transform and flip horizontal. And then it'll match that. Now, again, I did this just to be, because I'm lazy. But you don't have to do it this way. You could do it just the same way that we've been doing it. You'll see that gives kind of a different look in terms of where those 2 points meet, right? And if you like that, great. And if not, do it the other method. And I thought about this, after I looked at it, like maybe that it's just too obviously of a pattern, and I'm not that great of an artist. So in this part, I show you how to fix these issues that you maybe don't like. I think it's that sort of shape right there is just too obvious. You see it as an obvious pattern. And so I can go back to my mid and change it, right? And either make a duplicate and just have a different one, or just start to break up that particular shape. Another way to work it out is to like draw that shape multiple times at like an angle, maybe like 45, 33 degree angle from each other. And that will help make the pattern look less like a grid and more like an actual pattern. Here I'm playing around with making sure my offset's good, making a few other changes. And then again, as long as I go back to that original offset parameters, I'll be good. I won't have any trouble. Maybe at this point I realize, oh, these circles could help me, like you visually look like they're together, and then I'm just playing around with that kind of duplicate nature, and then bring it back to its original position. So taking that minus off, and now we're back to the original position, and then I can use this one, and then I can go back and of course adjust all of these if I wanted to. But in my case, I'm like, yeah, that's okay. It's nice. Turn that one off so I can show you how it looks. Yeah. So maybe it looks a little bit better. And then now, so the last part is to do these parts here. These parts that help you go up, right? Right? We have the angles here, right? And now we need the inside, I guess you could call these the outside edges, and now we need the inside edges to make a full tile set that's usable. So what you're going to do is you're just going to find the two areas that you need. So maybe I'll start with, I'll use this top because I need the grass, and then I need just the side. So I'll use this side here just to show you what I'm getting. So I got these two right here, right? I'm going to grab both of these, and again, I'm going to make a duplicate. So I'm just going to pull these into the new layer, and then make a duplicate, turn those off, and we'll retitle these in a second. And then what I would do in this case is maybe just move the grass one to the top, right? And then just grab my eraser tool and erase, oops, got the wrong layer selected. And then just erase the grass part that I don't need. So I don't need any of this part. And so I can just erase that until it's good. And I can do a better job with this if I want. And then just merge these. So I have this one, right click, merge layers, and then call this something. Oops. Come on, buddy. Thank you. An inside edge. I don't even know what to call this, but inside edge, whatever. One. I don't know of any better word for that. And then let's bring this over to our full tile set and see how this looks. Again, make sure you have snap on And I can move this guy off, put him in there. Looks like it's good. Put this one here. Looks like it's good. And that should be it. And then of course, just do that same thing for all the other edges. So one thing I should point out right here, oops, get out of here, is that, yeah, you'll notice this is a problem. And that's because I did the transform function. So I should have used the proper side, or I just should never have done that transform and flip vertical or horizontal, I forget which one. So I should have just redone these the same way, because that you'll notice this is an issue right here. And so that's a thing I need to address. Hopefully you can understand how to do that. And that should be it. Thanks.